What's going on, y'all? My name is Tommy. Welcome back to the channel. Time for another book review today. Lost Omens, Knights of Lastwall. Thanks for the free stuff, Paizo. If you're liking what you're seeing, remember to like, subscribe, and ding the bell. Stay caught up on all your stuff. For now, let's dive in. Okie dokie. Lost Omens, Knights of Lastwall. What do we say about you? I guess first things first, I should go ahead and get out there. Indeed, the things you've heard about this one are true. There are some bad parts. I am here to confirm that in this day and age, in the height of popularity of the Pathfinder role-playing game, that's right, you heard it correctly, those of us who worship the General of Vengeance must still suffer with this poor excuse for art. Maybe at some point, the people who make this great game will get it together, give us something like what the Chronicles of the Righteous cover was like instead of whatever this is. But until then, I just don't know if I have it in me to do anything other than forswear my allegiance to Tarbaphon and work to end all of mortal existence. I guess we'll figure it out. But seriously, my thoughts on Lost Omens Knights of Lastwall are in fact decidedly mixed. I will start with the good, and that is the lore, that thing that I have been coming to Pathfinder for ever and ever and ever and ever, and that thing that I love to share with people on the internet here, or running games for folks, or with friends of mine, just long info dumping. And Knights of Lastwall delivers in that regard. Everything from deities to specific knightly orders to what the Crusaders are getting up to anywhere other than the place that's overrun with undead, to a history of why even the Crusaders of Lastwall were violently murdered and kicked out of their home and then now must struggle to reclaim it. Alongside that comes specifically what knightly training looks like, knightly codes, bits of slang, which I think goes a very, very long way towards making a setting feel real and a little less like you're reading from a book. So, if you're the kind of person who really likes lore, who thinks this would look good on their shelf, who likes reading stuff like this for fun, by all means, this'll do it. Mechanically speaking, however, a lot of the book unfortunately just feels like it falls short. Now, I understand we're looking at a book that specifically is here to provide us options for the murdering of the undead, but a lot of the stuff given to you, there are just better options that do the same thing already. So it feels like taking the very niche things oftentimes just won't see play at a table, even if you have the rider from jump that you're going to be fighting a lot of the undead. There are some things that I think are pretty cool. For example, detonating spell, getting a little yes and on your single target spells. Man, I wish this was available to Magi without jumping through hoops. Prayer touched weapon feels very bespell weapon, but divine version. If only this could also do negative damage, then I think it would see play more. The armor of the Holy Warrior giving a very, very big armor class feels good whether or not undead are attacking you. In the spell department, Dancing Shield feels pretty good, and I love how that's on everyone's spell list. Target your shield and your friend who's in danger, and send it on a way to protect your friend. Sign of Conviction makes a very cool one-action damage on the divine spell list a la Magic Missile, which gives the cleric a little ability to poke someone for damage and then 2-action heal. Also, it gives you a status bonus to your base and saves in return for being stuck to the ground, so it feels like it buys off some of that sad debuff. But again, a lot of it just feels like the niche of these are for fighting things that will be very angry if they take positive damage isn't often worth making that choice when there are similar choices that just straight up do the same thing. I do think it's interesting that arcane casters have access to a little bit of positive damage, and in worlds where you're fighting things that really don't like good or positive damage, these are going to blow creatures out of the water, which I'm obviously very here for, but again, I wish there were more options for every single build and not just specific variants. For example, the spell Purifying Icicle, available to Divine and Primal casters as a first level spell, out to 60 feet, targeting one creature for 2 actions. You turn Life Essence into a very sharp frozen thing and sub-zero it at someone. You make a spell attack roll, and it does piercing and cold damage, and then there's a yes and if the target is undead, dealing an additional 1d4 positive damage. The critical success slows them down. This heightens in a very aggressive, very feels-good kind of way. This is dope. I just wish more of the options in this book had that, as opposed to just, this will do a boatload of positive damage. With that in mind, I think the best workaround for these spells in your campaigns is just, if you're going to be fighting the undead, say you're a member of one of the myriad Knights of Lastwall factions, perhaps when your party levels into certain spell levels, certain items, let them have access to them for free. Remember, if you're a member of a knightly order and you're tasked with a very impossible, you're going to be cleaning up zombies forever, presumably that means people are going to give you the tools you need to succeed. We can't apply Abomination Vault's logic to every single not dungeon crawl that exists. Likewise, in those kinds of campaigns, I think it's a totally 100% cool idea to add these spells into loot tables if you know, maybe I'm going to add a bunch of undead later on in the campaign, so your players can have access to these cool options without missing out on more staple or just straight up more powerful ones later on. With that in mind, that's all the time I have for this one, mostly because I'm playing someone who worships Kazutal and I need to flip through this new lore and read it and absorb all the good. What do y'all think? Did we pick the book up? Are we slaying a bunch of zombies? Throw it down in the comments. Let me know. As always, thank y'all so much for watching. We'll see you next time.